it's time for Legal Help Live. I am Ralph, that's Steve, and we're the Legal Help Live team, and we're here to answer all your questions, all your legal questions, but you got to call in first at 1-800-405-4222. That's toll free. You call, talk to us, ask a legal question, get a legal answer. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Fantastic. And every caller on the air today is going to get a meal for two at a restaurant of our choice. So when you're through with your call, make sure you, or the easy way to do is tomorrow after 9 o'clock, call that 800 number and leave your name, address, and phone number and tell them you want a dinner or lunch for two at a restaurant of our choice. That's every call that gets on the air.
Every single call that gets on the air, and the caller asks a legal question, gets a legal answer, and gets a gift certificate.
And the
That's not a bad deal.
Interesting part about it is that we're flying blind. There's no net here. It's live. So your questions will be heave-hoed live. We'll try and point you in the right direction. If we don't know, we'll tell you we don't know. If we're guessing, we'll tell you we're guessing. Remember, it's always better to go if you have to go see your own lawyer. You're on television. It's live. So don't admit to any crimes or cheating on your wife or your girlfriend. Remember, it's a holiday time, and there's some privilege to that.
Yeah, you don't want to rearrange your marital status over the holidays.
So for all of you who, throughout the state of California, and for all of you in Southern California, and all of you in LA County and various counties, the court system is in a real funk.
It's a mess.
And it's going to affect all of you. If you get a traffic ticket, you want to sue your neighbor in small claims court, get called for jury duty, the budget crunch has hit the court system.
Hard.
And
it's a hard hit.
They're closing down 10 courthouses.
10 courthouses.
In Southern California. You're talking, if you live in Pomona, they're closing down the Pomona courthouse.
Beverly Hills?
If you live in the area of Beverly Hills.
San Pedro?
West
LA?
Malibu. And a bunch of other courthouses. And what that's going to do for those of you who have civil cases will be a total disaster. LA County has been priding itself that you can get to trial within a year to 18 months. It used to be. It would take 3 to 5 years.
And if you get a moving violation now in Beverly Hills, you'll show up in court in front of a judge in Beverly Hills. But when Beverly Hills closes, guess where you're going? Guess where everybody's getting sent? Downtown. LA Metro on Hill Street, the high-rise.
All right, we've asked for calls. Remember, if you call in and you're on the air today, you'll get a dinner or lunch for two at a restaurant of our choosing.
Choice.
Choosing.
Of our choosing or choice.
All right,
either
so
way.
let's go to the phones.
We have Mark from Eagle Rock, I suspect.
How can we help you, Mark?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
We hear you just fine, Mark. How are you today?
I'm okay.
Good.
I had a question about, can you hear me here?
We hear you.
Just great.
All right. Yeah, I hear the echo there.
Oh, we hear you.
Okay, no problem. I am a part owner of an apartment out of state, and it's a small apartment, and it has only 4 units. And one of the tenants and I've never met this individual, they're paying their rent on time and everything. They're not disturbing the other tenants, but there may be some mental issues. So my question is, how can you have somebody evicted who's not, actually violating the rules? What I've said to the other owner is that if you send the cops out there, they can do a welfare check, but they cannot remove them from the unit because if they know their name and everything. So, is there a legal way to have somebody evicted who is not actually, violating the rules or the terms of the rental?
What state's the unit in?
Well, it's Oregon, and Oregon is very pro-landlord, and California is very pro-tenant. But that's all I can say. I've never met the individual, so I'm just basing it on what
we have an office in Portland, Oregon. That's sort of
we do, but we can't practice Oregon law, and we don't really know Oregon law. So
I tell you what you can do to get a specific answer. You can call the 800 number on the screen and ask to speak to our partner Ryan Kroll in our Portland office, and he can probably give you that answer.
But
Generally in California, if a person is living up to all the obligations, not causing problems with the tenant, their mental status is probably not an issue in the landlord-tenant agreement.
That's true.
As long as they don't create problems with the neighbors, pay their rent on time, not sexual deviance.
And they don't violate the terms of the lease if there's a lease. But if there's no lease, Mark, then in California, a tenancy can be terminated within a given time period. It's either 30 days or 60 days, depending upon circumstances.
Unless you have a lease, and if you have a lease, then it's
yeah, exactly.
You have to wait till the lease is over.
Exactly. If there is no lease, then the tenancy can be terminated within a certain time frame. If there is a lease and nobody's violating the lease, then you're not going to be able to break the lease just because the person has mental issues.
Even crazy people have a right to live someplace. And
is it true though, nationally though, if the cops go out and speak, if they ask them questions, if they know their name, and everything, and they know the date and everything, they can't remove somebody from the premises because that would be like kidnapping, wouldn't it?
Well, first of all, in California, the issue is whether you're a danger to yourself or others. Mm-hmm. If you're not a danger to yourself or others, then nobody is going to take anybody from any place else.
Right.
And if they're a danger to themselves or others, then they get within a certain short period of time an examination by a psychiatrist. They can hold them for a very short period of time. You have to be really in bad shape. And after that, they're entitled to hearings. So basically, if you got somebody who's a little nuts, but is not a danger to himself or others, the police are not going to pick them up in California.
Not only that,
but that'd be true everywhere in the country because
we can't comment on other practices in other states, but in California, that's very true. And for a person to be actually kept involuntarily for a protracted period of time, they have to be really, really off the edge.
So what you need to do, if you're really concerned about it, and it sounds like you are, is you need to get an opinion from someone in Oregon.
Mm-hmm. His name is Mark Kroll. What's his name? Kroll?
Kroll, K-R-O-L-L.
He'll tell you.
His first name is Ryan.
He practices. He's licensed in Oregon. He'll give you an answer. If not, he'll refer you to someplace where you can get it.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Thanks for calling in.
Good luck, and thanks for calling Legal Help Live. Interesting situation, really interesting situation. Every state's different, and these landlord-tenant law is it's a creature of statute.
Yeah,
so
but
it's very different from one place to another.
It used to be when a landlord, you didn't pay the rent, the landlord could knock the door down.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
Throw your stuff out of there.
That was a long time ago.
If you do that, you'll own the landlord's business.
Right. If you do that now, yeah.
There's a unlawful detainer statute, which is short, quick, and fairly expeditious, where you have to go through to get people out who don't pay their rent, violate conditions,
right,
creating havoc, selling drugs in the premise, etc.
Correct.
So, interesting situation. But you know what got me this? With the courts closing down, it's going to create real havoc for people on jury duty.
That's very true.
Because it used to be you'd go within 11 miles of...
The rule is this: if you can get to your designated courthouse for jury duty with no more than two in public transportation with no more than two transfers of a bus, then you are within your bounds of which courthouse you have to go to. So closing down all these courthouses, maybe that rule is going to change. I don't know.
If you get jury duty in federal court, for this district it goes hundreds of miles.
Yes.
And
yeah.
And the courthouse is generally in downtown Los Angeles.
Well, there's northern, eastern.
No, but if you're in Southern California,
there are only four.
If you're in Southern California,
yes.
Unless it's in the Orange County area,
right,
you will be in federal district court. So you can be up in Santa Barbara
and drive to L.A.
Drive to L.A. Morning. Unbelievable.
And complain.
But
you're going to complain to a federal court judge? I'm not.
But the problem with closing down the courthouses is that people with small claims court, all the regular kinds of things where half the people use the system, they're not going to really have access to the courts like they used to have.
No, and it's difficult now. People who who have cases where lawyers are not involved, like small claims, usual traffic cases, unlawful detainers. Frequently, people aren't represented. They can be, but sometimes frequently they're not. Those are instances where people are really adversely and very directly affected.
And today, if you're a juvenile and you get a traffic ticket, you go right into the regular adult traffic court. A few months ago, there was a separate juvenile court. That's gone too.
That's also too bad.
So now what do you do? Interesting thing is when it came up, I was sort of thinking about it. Every place I go, I see somebody holding one of these Monster energy drinks,
Yeah.
or a Red Bull, or there's a gazillion different names to them.
Yes.
Are there any regulations on those drinks?
If there's alcohol in them, then yes, but not if there's not alcohol, then I'm not sure there's any regulation.
They are called dietary supplements.
Is
and
that
they
good?
They are not regulated by the FDA. So I see these kids running around with one of these energy drinks. And the reason why they're energy drinks is that they're jammed full with caffeine. So if you're working on the Legal Health Live staff and we're like the floor manager and we're about ready to fall asleep, you would probably suck one of those energy drinks on you. But there is miles and miles and miles and packages of caffeine in them. They don't even put the amount of caffeine on the outside of the drink.
Are they dangerous?
Well, there have been 5 deaths recently.
That's dangerous. That's really dangerous.
And there's a couple of lawsuits pending now where young kids or have been killed claiming that they drank one of these dietary supplements, which is really a caffeine-loaded 5 times the amount of as a Coca-Cola, and they died.
That's horrible.
And nobody regulates them.
Nobody regulates them, and I take it there are no warning labels on the can?
They don't have anything.
There are warning labels on aspirin, warning labels on glue that kids use to assemble models.
So you should be really careful, because if you've got any kind of a heart problem, or you don't even know you have a heart problem, which most people walking around don't even know they have a problem.
Most people with heart problems don't know they do.
And you start drinking those big energy drinks, you may well cause a heart attack to yourself. You may well cause all kinds of,
Could be fatal.
Could be fatal.
Doesn't really even particularly matter how.
It would just seem to me that the FDA should at least review this stuff and should put some kind of regulations on it.
So we're going to take a break now. When we come back, we'll be taking your calls at 1-800-405-4222. This is Legal Help Live. I'm Ralph. That's Steve. When we come back from our break, I'm going to tell you what the City Council, the City of Los Angeles, did just today. It may affect you directly. It's kind of interesting. We'll see what happens, and we'll be right back after our break.
Stay tuned for more Legal Help Live.